Hello friends, I am Dr. Nilesh Kanjaria and today we are going to see the metformin. Metformin is actually an anti-diabetic drug. So if we want to understand the mechanism of action of the metformin, then see the major reason for the increase in the blood glucose is the liver. So means liver is the major source which increases the blood glucose level. How? So liver has the two major reactions through which it increases the glucose production. The one process is known as gluconeogenesis. So gluconeogenesis means what? So it is the genesis means a synthesis of glucose and neo means other than carbohydrate sources. So other than the carbohydrate sources we have the fats and we have the proteins. So fat, the smallest unit of the fat is fatty acid and smallest unit of the protein, that is amino acid. So the production of the glucose from the fatty acid and amino acid, that is known as the gluconeogenesis. And the another source of the glucose is the process of glycogenolysis. So glycogenolysis means what? So glycogenolysis means it is the breakdown of the glycogen, and that glycogen is converted into the glucose. So through this two mechanism, the glucose production is increased, and this is the reason why the blood glucose level is increased. So this is the one mechanism. So what the metformin does? So metformin is inhibiting this both processes. So it inhibits the it inhibits the hepatic glucose production by blocking these two processes. And another mechanism of metformin is inhibiting the aerobic ATP synthesis. Aerobic ATP synthesis. So what is that? So ATP synthesis occurs through the two pathway. It means what? The glucose is converted by the process of glycolysis into the pyruvate. Now this pyruvate, it will have the two option. If the oxygen is available, so that pyruvate it enters into the TCA cycle and it produces the 36 ATP and CO2 and water. So this is known as the Krebs cycle or the TCA cycle, where the pyruvate enters into the TCA cycle and in presence of oxygen it is converted into the 36 ATP. If oxygen is not available, that is known as anaerobic ATP pathway, where in presence of the enzyme LDH, this pyruvate is converted into the 4 ATP and it will yield the lactic acid. So what happened? The metformin is the drug which is inhibiting this pathway. So metformin will block this aerobic ATP synthesis. So what happens? So aerobic ATP synthesis is blocked. So the pyruvate has to compulsorily enter into the anaerobic pathway. So indirectly, it stimulates the anaerobic ATP synthesis. And because of that the only 4 ATPs are being produced from the one glucose molecule. So from one glucose molecule you will have the 4 ATPs. So if you want to produce a 36 ATP which is equivalent to this, then you need to utilize in 9 molecules of glucose. So indirectly it increases the glucose utilization. So it increases the glucose utilization and thereby it reduces the blood glucose. Actually, the metformin is a molecule which is having the multiple mechanisms of action, but these are the two main mechanisms. One, it inhibits the hepatic glucose production by inhibiting the gluconeogenesis and inhibiting the glycogenolysis, and second, it inhibits the aerobic ATP synthesis and thereby it stimulates the anaerobic ATP pathway and increases the glucose utilization and decreases the blood glucose. So this is the mechanism of action. If we want to understand, say here it is stimulating the anaerobic pathway, anaerobic ATP synthesis. So it means it also increases the production of lactic acid. So one of the adverse effect of the metformin is the lactic acidosis. But the major adverse effect of the metformin are the nausea, then GI upset, abdominal pain. It is having the metallic taste. So these are the adverse effects of metformin and where they are being used. So metformin is mainly used for the treatment of type 2 diabetes mellitus. Along with that, metformin is off-labelly used for the weight loss, and it is also used for to induce the ovulation in PCOD patients, that is polycystic ovarian disease. So these are the uses of metformin. So thank you so much guys for watching this video. We are waiting for your feedback. You can join us on the Instagram, that is pharmacology_guru, and you can also join us on the Facebook, that is pharmacology.guru. So thank you so much guys.